Happy lunch hour, guys. Okay, so in light of everything that happened at Mar-a-Lago yesterday, I think it's important that we discuss how you can protect yourself, if you will, from overreach by the federal government, the state, and any sort of law enforcement. Okay. Now, uh, I've talked about some of this before, but I'm going to kind of wrap it all up into one video. And I'm going to qualify this even for those of you who go, well, stop giving the disclaimers yet. No, I do this to protect myself legally. All right. I am not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one or anything like that. I'm going to give you the information based on what I've been trained in, what I've learned from talking to legal professionals, and from research I've done. Okay. Check on your own. State laws may be different, but overall, I'm going to go over what is legally allowed under the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Now, first off, let's set up the scenario, and then second, let's talk about what you can do to protect yourself. So it's the middle of the afternoon, the middle of the night, whatever it is, and there's a knock on the door. And you hear somebody say, "Police, we have a warrant." Now, yes, I'm going to, if you hear "we have a warrant," at that point I would say go to the door. If you just hear "police," you are under no obligation to acknowledge their presence. You can pretend like you're not home. All right. Remember, the police have no right at all to enter your house unless one of two things happens. They have a warrant to enter your home, or you give them permission. Now, if you hear "police, we have a warrant," go to the door and do not open the door. Ask them to see the warrant. They can slide it under the door. They can put it up to the window in the door, whatever it is. First thing you want to do, make sure they're at the right house. Okay. There's plenty of examples of cops showing up to the wrong house. If they have a warrant, it is for your house or whatever. And I'm talking search warrant. I'm not talking arrest warrant. Okay. The arrest warrant's totally different. I'm talking search warrant. If they have a search warrant and it has the right address, then you can open the door. If they do not have a warrant, do not even open the door. If they come up and say, "We want to come in," do you have a warrant? No. Get off my property. If they don't leave, call 911 and get police out there to escort the police off the property. Okay. By law, if they say they have, by law, they are supposed to say they have a warrant. Okay. They are not required to show it to you unless you ask to see it. Ask to see it and read the damn thing. Okay. It's not like it's Moby Dick. It's going to be a piece of paper, maybe two. Okay. Read it. Once you open the door, all right, and they've got a warrant, they can come in. If you don't open the door and they've got a search warrant, they're going to break the door down. All right. So in trying to avoid having your house busted up, they've got a warrant, let them in. But the reason you need to read the warrant is you need to see on there what they are looking for and where they are allowed to search. Okay. That is very important. All right. If they are, let's say they're looking for stolen computers, they have no right to look in your medicine cabinet and take an inventory of what medicines you have in your medicine cabinet. Okay. Sorry, that's not covered under the warrant. If they're looking for drugs, okay, obviously they're going to check out different places. What you also want to look at is this is where it comes into prepping. Where are they allowed to search? Does the warrant say search the premises? Okay, now you need a definition of premises. Does that cover the house, the land, anything like that, the mailbox, whatever it would be? Usually a warrant will be specific, very specific, on what they are searching for and where they are allowed to search. If the warrant says we are allowed to search the house at 12345 Main Street, that does not mean they can search the car that's in the driveway. That does not mean they can search the shed out back. That does not mean they can search your detached garage. This is one of the big reasons why it's important to have your preps in different locations, okay? Because in an SHTF situation, especially if we wind up in a martial law situation, okay, you need to have things in different places, because we don't know if they're going to come up and say, we have a warrant to search for any and all food products in your house. Great, go search my house. You can get all the food in my house. Doesn't say you can search my shed. Doesn't say you can search my garage. Doesn't say you can search the trunk of my car, whatever it would be. All right, that's something to be very knowledgeable about. Make sure you read it, and find out exactly where they are allowed to search and what they are allowed to search/confiscate. Now, if they find something else that is in plain sight that is illegal, okay, if all of a sudden they're searching for stolen computers and they run across a meth lab in a house, they're not just going to leave the meth lab there, okay? Not saying any of you have a meth lab. I'm just, you know how I make points. If I make it ridiculous, it makes you think. It makes you realize what I'm talking about. The scary one we get into is the overreach of this current administration on the Second Amendment, okay? What do we do if it comes to a point of we have a warrant to search your house for any sort of weaponry? You better have your weaponry in multiple places. And I'm not talking about in 2 different bedrooms. That's all part of your house. There's nothing that says, no warrant is ever going to say we have a warrant to search Joey's bedroom for guns. Okay, it's going to be the entire house. All right. But does it say the shed? Does it say the car? Okay, whatever it would be. Does it say they're allowed to dig up the backyard? Okay, this is it. These are things that you need to think about. All right, where do you place your preps? Having the cops show up the door is rarely ever an enjoyable experience. I'd say never, because if you've called the cops, there's something happened. You got robbed, you got assaulted, something bad has happened. Nobody calls the cops up and says, hey, come on over. I'd like to have a cup of coffee with you and shoot the shit. So, it's not a good experience when the police show at your door, but you need to know your legal rights. Now, obviously, yesterday in Mar-a-Lago, they had a warrant. Sounds to me like they were let in. They didn't have to bust down a door or something like that. They didn't do any damage from what I understand. I will tell you this too. The Supreme Court has said that the police must conduct their search professionally. They are not to come in the house and do damage, okay? Within reason. If they're going to search the kitchen cabinets, they can open the cabinets. They don't need to bust the kitchen cabinet open with a sledgehammer, all right? That's it. They don't need to tear apart and break things in the house. When they do something like that, that's overreach, and most of the time that will be enough to get anything they found thrown out, okay? Inadmissible evidence at that point. Police are expected to operate with some decorum. Doesn't mean they all do, all right? Police are also expected to use some common sense. Doesn't mean they all do. Police are expected to know how to read. Doesn't mean that they don't go to the wrong house. All right. But one thing you need to do for yourself is research what the laws are in your city, state, county, whatever. Go for a free consultation with an attorney and say, what are the laws on a search in Poughkeepsie? Okay. It doesn't matter where you are. All right. You need to know what your rights specifically are there, because they will change from state to state, possibly from city to city. I don't know. Okay. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. But again, the best prep you can possibly have is knowledge. Knowing what your rights are is going to be huge going forward. You can stop a lot of negativity if you know what your rights are. Trust me, from somebody whose job was to manipulate things when I was speaking with people. Okay, interrogator job. The cops are going to tell you as much as they need to and not an iota more. That's why there needs to be everything on a warrant. We're here to search your house. That's true. Okay, that's what the cop's going to tell you. What for? Guns. Okay. Then the 50 pounds of gold bars that I have sitting right there, you can't touch. Oh, see what I'm saying? I wish I had 50 pounds of gold bars. But yes, this is the thing. Unless it is, criminal. Gee, the fact I have 100 katanas around the house. Can't touch those if all you're searching for is guns. All right. If it says, a warrant will not be generic. It will not be ambiguous. It's going to say specifically what and where. You need to be aware of that, and do not let anything else happen. Do not try to argue with the cop. You are allowed to film a search, at least in most states. Again, talk with the lawyer. Film what's going on. They may tell you not to. Law says you can. Okay. They may tell you to stay in a particular room. Law says you can. They may remove you from the premises while they conduct the search. That's, depending on the warrant, legal as well. But again, they have to have compassion when they do it. They can't come knock on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning where you're sleeping in your boxer shorts, say, we have a warrant, come outside, sir, handcuff you, and it's 12 degrees outside, make you stand outside in the cold in your boxer shorts while they do a search. No. That entire search will get thrown out of court. Okay. Know your rights. Speak. Like I said, get a free consultation with an attorney. Speak and say, okay, I'm doing this for my knowledge, considering where the country is going and what just happened in Palm Springs. If something like that ever happened to me, what are my rights? And listen. That's called prepping. Knowledge is power. Your rights are something that you need to know inside, outside, upside down, and backwards. Because if you don't, somebody will take advantage of you. That I can guarantee. Pinball out.